welcome to the Voice of All Things. Today, I'm going to be reviewing chapter 989. Sorry we haven't released a video in the last couple weeks. We've been working on something extra special for everyone. Keep an eye out for that. This week's chapter is entitled, I Can't Imagine Losing, and it's a pretty awesome chapter. Last week's chapter was a little dry, but this week we have a lot of very interesting things to talk about, so let's get right into it. First off, of course, we need to mention the cover, where Pound holds a tiny little picture towards a ship that's sailing away from him, which I guess they'll see and believe he's their father now. Hooray, so happy for him.
Also, is that a young Big Mom in the picture?
It is! Anyway, let's move on to the actual chapter. We start off with Big Mom being knocked down and Napoleon trying to wake her back up. Of course, she's not down for the count. Now, we're going to talk about Big Mom in just a second, but we'll get there. First of all, we get to see a tender moment between Nami and Frankie, but Frankie's very stoic about the situation. I think everyone was very surprised. In fact, I'm not sure who's saying, "Are you okay, Nami?" Or they might be asking more along the lines of, "Why are you being so nice to Frankie?" rather than, "Are you actually physically okay?" Because this is certainly very surprising. She must have been very terrified to hug Frankie. We also get to see a little more of Yamato. I've been pretty amused by Yamato's antics so far, and Yamato's desire to be Odin, but this chapter did seem a little weird that Yamato would try to address Momonosuke directly as his father. I feel like he should give some kind of introduction about, "Oh, I'm Yamato, I'm trying to be your father," not, "I'm your father, why are you afraid of me?" Because that clearly didn't work.
But it's just weird how they expect everyone to automatically assume they're Odin.
But Oda does not shy away from writing his characters as being a bit thick in the head.
I don't know, I'm gonna be pretty upset if there's no deeper reason for that, because it's just kind of weird, I don't know.
I think it's funny. I think it's something that... There's a lot about Yamato that I think is kind of debatable and controversial right now, but we'll probably get to see more depth to Yamato's character in future well, we'll definitely get to see more depth there, but what that means is still very much up in the air. Of course, speaking of extremely controversial things, what happens with Big Mom next is also very controversial right now. Let's take a moment and think about this. In Whole Cake Island arc, she was the central antagonist, but the biggest threat to the Straw Hats was her enormous fleet. Her endless army of incredibly strong people, not just her alone. And while she is indestructible and incredibly powerful, she was not the biggest threat to the Straw Hats throughout that arc. We actually got to see Jinbei manhandle her a little bit during their escape. When she jumped on the ship, with a single punch, he was able to send her flying, although she was fine. But that helps us to appreciate that here, Jinbei just sending her flying with the help of Robin isn't an enormous victory that really makes Big Mom seem any weaker by comparison. It's just that instead of having the weakling Straw Hats being terrified of her, we have the strongest Straw Hats being able to knock her to the side temporarily, knowing she's immediately going to come back as strong as ever. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, Big Mom seems like a chump now." But Big Mom doesn't seem like a chump now. It's just that the Straw Hats are very powerful. They are nearly a Yonko level crew.
Also, it's my theory that Jinbei is probably the strongest out of all the warlords. Well, I don't know about Mihawk, but Jinbei's definitely not a low-level warlord.
Yeah, we've actually seen him one-shot Moria. So the idea that he can toss Big Mom when he's already done it before. In fact, we've seen Brook take on Big Mom, not with a team, one-on-one. Now, he survived that battle mostly because she wanted to sleep with him, but he did fight her one-on-one and come out a lot, quote-unquote, alive at the end. So it's really not that strange or out of character or even a degradation of Big Mom as a character to see the strongest of the Straw Hats be able to hold her back temporarily while they save Frankie from her wrath. And of course, Frankie gets a wonderful Jinbei-style moment where he declares his captain to be the future Pirate King, and hence notes that they have no reason to fear someone on such a lower level like Big Mom. Then we get introduced to some more numbers. It's always exciting to see them, and now we finally get a little context on them, which actually opens up a ton more questions. We get to see that these giants are actually failed attempts at recreating beings like Ors, and these experiments that created them were done on Punk Hazard. Now, the questions this opens up are, when were these giants created? Who created them? And why are they so dumb? Of course, we might have been wondering that before, but they really seem like they have a very limited intelligence, as they seem to say their own name like Pokemon and almost nothing else. Now, if we look back at the One Piece timeline, there's a lot of questions about when Vegapunk was on Punk Hazard, when could he have worked on these things, when could he have had a shady dealing with Kaido that the world government would have known about to sell these beings. For one, we know that Caesar did not seem to have a lot of success with gigantification. So these beings were likely created by Vegapunk, not Caesar, in the same vein that he was able to recreate dragons from time past. Although the dragons that Vegapunk created seem to look a lot less cool than the ancient dragons, just like the ancient giants he created look a lot dopier than Or's did. But yes, these giants open up a lot of questions that we need to know about, and no doubtedly we'll get an answer to. Now, one possibility is that Moria saw these numbers when he attacked Kaido all those years ago, and that might have been why he sought out an ancient giant for his own army. But that's just one possible theory. It is interesting, though, that Kaido and Moria both had similar ideas when it came to resurrecting these ancient giants, and it continues to solidify the theories that Ors had ties to Wano. Also, these three that we get pictured here on this 2-page spread, I think personally are a lot cooler than the ones we've seen before, and I can't wait to see the final ones. Then we get to see some pirate docking, which is always exciting to see. And fun trivia, how many times has Luffy been eaten by a Brachiosaurus? I'll give you a second. Okay, time's up. The answer is 2. He's been eaten by 2 Brachiosauruses. Neither time he was swallowed completely. More accurately, he's been in a Brachiosaurus's mouth twice. Also, the scene with Zoro just appearing on the balcony next to Queen is absolutely hilarious, one of the highlights of the chapter. A lot of people have been talking about how they think it's interesting that Zoro wanted to help take down Kaido with Luffy, but I really just think that was Zoro's natural response to Luffy wanting to go somewhere and fight a strong enemy. It is, of course, of note that Zoro does have the sword that cut Kaido in his possession now. So the chances that Zoro will be there to help Luffy take down Kaido are very high, though I highly doubt that Zoro will be the one to deal the final blow, as he honestly has the least at stake here when it comes to taking down Kaido. It's very likely he will score a hit at least on Kaido, but being the one to take down Kaido is almost certainly going to fall with one of the people who have a direct beef with Kaido, or the protagonist, Luffy. Then, of course, I don't want to forget, we haven't gotten to see a lot of good looks at weird-looking smile users lately, and we do get to see one little chonky boy up there along with King flying in the sky, and I find him very amusing. It's always neat to see the little side smile users that Oda throws in there. There are so many funny-looking ones.
What kind of animal even is that?
I don't know.
It looks like a cow or something.
He looks like a flying bear. Maybe he just has a bear hat like Kuma. I hope we get to see a close-up of this fella. Also, it's possible that Frankie took out one of these numbers all by himself. It's hard to say. The number did get knocked down and seems to be out of it, but that would be pretty impressive considering it took all the Straw Hats to take down one Ors before, and by himself, Frankie one-shotted one of them. So if he did take him down, it's a good indication of how much the Straw Hats have grown since they left Thriller Bark. Then we were all worried about Sanji, but he's completely fine. He's very annoyed by the fact that the Germa suit worked so well to protect him, and I'm really liking how this suit is shaping up to be an awesome power-up for him. One comment from this chapter that I've noticed online people talking about is Hyogoro saying, strangely enough, I can't imagine losing. So here, a lot of people are saying, oh no, it's foreshadowing for something terrible to happen. But I don't really think that's the case. I really think this is Oda giving us something to be hype about. Because have we ever known any fight in One Piece to have bad consequences?
But that's the thing. I feel like if they do beat Kaido at this point, it will be unearned. It really feels unearned to me. Luffy hasn't learned anything new. Like, he wasn't able to fight Kaido the first time he ran into him. So what's changed now? Nothing.
Well, he trained with that advanced Taki.
Okay, but like for 2 seconds.
I mean, it was a montage. It was like, still, it was only 8 days, unlike the 2 years he trained before.
They weren't there long enough. I really don't feel like it's going to feel earned if they beat Kaido. I think something bad's going to happen.
It is possible. Honestly, it's really hard to tell. Because,
especially with Big Mom there.
Yeah, but Big Mom couldn't even kill Pound. So, you know. the cover art might have been showing us, oh yes, nothing is ever truly lost if Pound's still alive. But who's to say? It's really hard to say at this point because currently everything does look very optimistic. They threw Big Mom out a window. The Minks are all going Sulong on Kaido up on the roof. Frankie took out a number. Everything does look very positive here. So either we're going to very soon get a huge negative turn, which still probably means no one will die, but a big negative turn where something bad looks like it's going to happen, or maybe Hyogoro is right. Maybe things are just going to go well. Then, finally, we get a beautiful 2-page spread of all of our Straw Hats together, all in one place. It's really nice to see. All of them are posing in really cool ways, except Robin, who's kind of just standing there. But still, not to take away any hype from the moment. It's very cool. The most exciting thing in this chapter, though, is the fact that next chapter is next week. We do not have a break. Everybody be happy. So you're probably wondering, hey, this is a discussion of a chapter. Why are they playing video games in the background? It's because we don't have a lot of time to edit these videos. So I figured I'd just play One Piece Pirate Warriors and talk over it so that you guys could watch me play One Piece Pirate Warriors, because I never did make a review of that game. So instead we'll talk about One Piece chapters, which are always exciting, over top of this, so that we can get these videos out to you as soon as possible.
But also, this is just going to be for chapter reviews. Our regular editing will continue for the other videos we put out, but for chapter reviews, this is the best way to do it.
And now, onto everyone's favorite song.
Yo!
Gaigo, Gaigo! Hey there!
Don't leave without subbing.
Hey there!
Don't leave without liking.
Hey there!
Don't forget to comment. Hit the bell, hit the bell, hit the bell.